Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Balance Podcast. Again, I want to thank everyone who tunes in and has been tuning in since the very beginning, but thank you to all of my new listeners as well. So, we're going to do a little bit different this episode. It's called the music episode because later on in the show, I will be featuring new music from various artists, and not only that, I will be featuring a live performance from someone who I think is awesome. So, that is something to look forward to. But first, we're going to go ahead and do our usual celebrity news. So I want to start off with a shout out to Sasha Obama. I thought it was interesting that she chose to attend the University of Michigan. And interesting in a good way. Like, I like it. It's something different. She's not choosing to go to an Ivy League, but she's still choosing to go to a great school. And I was also like shocked. Like, I was like, oh yeah, she did turn 18. Like, time is flying. And it's like we saw those girls like grew up right in front of our eyes, and they're both grown. Like, Malia's old enough to drink, she's 21. Sasha is 18 and she's off to college. But anyways, it's great. Black excellence. Shout out to y'all and wishing her all the best. So on Monday, the VMAs aired, and I just have a few thoughts on it. So in terms of Missy Elliott, she did an amazing job, and she definitely deserves. And I know that I've always loved Missy, but I've also been one of those who just kind of didn't show her all of the love. Like, I mean, like, I've never talked bad about Missy, but like, I didn't give Missy her flowers. And you need to give people their flowers while they're here and alive and can still breathe them and like look at them every freaking day. And you know, she really deserves, like, Melissa Elliott deserves. And I hate that she kind of had to beg and campaign to get her own award, you know, when there's people like, you know, J-Lo and stuff like that. And, you know, no shade, I like, you know, the Shanti vocals that J-Lo had going on. I loved, you know, the black J-Lo phase. But, you know, her videos weren't like super, you know, innovative and creative like Missy Elliott. Like, just, I can't even explain the levels like to Missy Elliott videos. And just also seeing her dance, like, I always love, like, oh, like, here's a plus size girl like moving and dancing, you know, like, even though like I was always skinny, I just love seeing that, because even though it wasn't my representation, I love that others were getting that representation and that she killed it. And like, she just defied barriers and different things. So I love it. I'm glad she got her flowers. But again, I hate that she had to beg. And I hate that they only gave her 7 minutes. And it was really weird to me. People still online, oh, it's because Missy isn't popping like she used to be or whatever. But it's still Missy Elliott, and she deserved more than 7 minutes. You could at least give her a solid 10. Like, you know, I love Beyonce. Everyone knows. But, you know, it wasn't even her Vanguard the year that Rihanna won, because Beyonce won it back 2014, and then Rihanna won it a couple of years ago. And when Lemonade came out 2016 is when she did like a whole 15-minute set. She went through the whole album, like, you know, and that was just as a performer. So they definitely could let Missy, like, you know, as the winner, at least have 10 minutes, regardless of whether or not she's quote unquote, you know, air quotes over here, you know, popping and as relevant as she used to be. So I don't know, but it is the VMAs, and you can see they were trying really hard to capture, you know, a Hispanic, Latin, and Black audience back. And I mean, you know, Black dollars matter, just like our lives, just like our minds, just like our health, all of that. Our money matters too, and so they want our attention and our views, and this is their way of doing it. I love seeing Queen Latifah, and I love the kind of old school tribute at the end. It was kind of weird seeing Fetty Wap again and kind of thrown in there, but I get it. It wasn't necessarily old school. It was a tribute to New Jersey, which is kind of random. Like, I don't know if they explained that, and I just tuned it out, but I didn't understand why was there a specific focus on that area. And if you're gonna do New Jersey, it's about Newark, like, it's just like, man, you're gonna do this when the queen of Newark, Miss Whitney Houston, isn't here anymore, like, you know. But anyway, so kind of moving forward, and then, you know, Cardi was the one to present the award. Now, I get the criticism in terms of Sierra, definitely, or even more so like Timbaland, or even at least Hologram. Like, you know, those would be more appropriate to give the award. But I heard that Missy specifically chose Cardi. I don't know how true that is, or if it came exactly from Missy's mouth, but that's just what I'm hearing. But either way, it's just like people just wanted to like hate and just on Cardi for it, and just like, man, like, there's plenty of things Cardi gives you to hate on, like, but that's not one of them. She just minding her business, doing this award thing, you know, getting her check, getting her money, and just, you know, giving, you know, credit where credit's due to Missy. And I just, like, I didn't understand the hate and then the slander that came from it. She was a #1 trending topic when she didn't perform, and she only got like 1 award. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. And it's just like, again, people are so fickle, and I went on a whole rant on Twitter, but people are so fickle and they're so fake. And it's like, you know, Cardi, you know, people loved her when she first came out. Like, y'all loved her. Like, you know, people was talking about, like, you know, Bodak Yellow. Like, I didn't really listen to it at first, but people kept talking about it, and then I checked it out. And, you know, people, like, I saw people talking a little bit about her mixtapes, and then people loved her on Love and Hip Hop in New York. But again, when people start getting too high and they start rising and they're too successful, people don't like it. And it's scary, you know, like that people's support can just change that much. Like Invasion of Privacy came out, like everybody was loving it. Like everybody was just tweeting about it and talking about it, and everybody was raving about the album. But now y'all saying, oh, she didn't deserve album of the year, or like that album was mediocre, it was mid. But it's like everybody loved her for a moment, like the whole timeline. But now I just see so much hate, and it's a switch up. And don't get me wrong, Cardi is giving you plenty of reasons, you know, between her Instagram rants when she needs to stop like searching or Google alerting her name and just live her life and take care of her beautiful baby culture, and, you know, maybe find a new husband. But that's a different story. But, you know, like there's so much that she could be doing instead of like worrying about what people gotta say. And her rants are annoying, and it's fed up, and it almost gives credence to Nicki Minaj's sympathy and payola thing. But anyway, we'll move away from that. But, you know, it's just, she gives you so much, and it's just like, but still, it's just like all of a sudden now everybody just hates her. I don't know, it's just people are fickle, and it's just annoying. Like, support ain't real out here, you know. But speaking of support, so Lizzo, she gets a lot of support, and I like her. Her music doesn't necessarily hit for me like I wanted to. Like, Juice is cute, and I mean, I love the little Soulmate song, that's cute. But like, that's it. Like, it's just cute. Like, it's a little bop, and you know, if it's on, like, I'll bop my head to it. But I'm not gonna like go and like stream it and like play it like that. But, you know, that's the thing. You can still like support people even if they're not like your cup of tea, like their music isn't your cup of tea. And even with my podcast, like, my thing is, I hope that everyone loves it. I hope that people enjoy it. I try my best to make sure that everybody feels included, that they feel like, you know, this is just, you know, like a kind of a friendship in a way, that people don't feel like alone. Like, you put on my podcast episode and you're getting your life, like you're getting some giggles in, you're vibing to whatever music I'm featuring from original artists, or you're learning about new people and new things or that's going on, that you just don't feel alone. Like, you feel like, you know, that makes you feel good. But I get that I might not be everybody's cup of tea, and that's why I say, like, oh, like, if I post it online, like, just retweet it, like, have your friends retweet it, like, whatever. Like, they don't have to rock with it, but you can support people and root for people who seem good, who are out here just living their lives, you know. And that's how I feel about Lizzo. But I do think she's really talented, and I could see her getting bigger from here. But on the other hand, and this might ruffle some feathers, but kind of like that girl said, you know, it must be said. Like, it must be said. Y'all gonna hate me, you might not like it, but it must be said. So Meg Thee Stallion, I think I like her. Like, I like that she brings, you know, people together. I love that. I love that she doesn't seem to be beefing and not on any kind of petty level stuff, and just embraces all the girls around her, you know, because you can't say the same for Nicki. But what you can say for Nicki, and I think I've expressed many times on the show my frustrations with Nicki Minaj, but I'm a former and reformed Barb. Like, I literally had Team Minaj and called myself a Barbie and sat in the living room with my Pink Friday CD in my hand while watching 106 in Park while she was on there when it dropped. So, you know, but, you know, she's given plenty of reasons, so I just kind of backed away from her in terms of like my support. And I'm not gonna lie, you know, I might sneak and string good form a little bit, but that's about it. But anyways, the thing is about Nicki, she did something for rap. She did something for female rap. She brought it back, and I don't think that any of the rap girls out here, even Meg Thee Stallion, none of them are gonna touch what, you know, Nicki's been able to accomplish. I don't think they're gonna still have their name out there in that relevancy even in 10 years from now, and, you know, however long Nicki's been in the game. I just don't see it for them. Like, Saweetie, like, my type is cute, it's a bop. Like, I have to stop, like, you know, around the second verse because it's, you know, yeah, but you know. But, and, you know, Meg Thee Stallion, my thing with her is she has amazing freestyles. That's her strength. She can freestyle like no other. I mean, go toe to toe with men in the industry. Not that men are on a superior feat anyway, but just in general, she can go toe to toe with anybody when it comes to a freestyle, and I love it for her. And that's where that's where my fanness comes in. But when it comes to like her music, like, you know, Fever was cute. Like, it has bops. Like, you know, and I listen to it, you know, to make me feel good and stuff, but it's not like, I don't think I'll be listening to it next year. It doesn't have like, it's like that music that comes out and you'll play it a little bit, but you know, it goes away. But that's just kind of how music is now. It's just meant for the now. It's not meant to have that lasting legacy, which I think is sad. You know, it's just like they just kind of like Beyonce said, like, you know, they drop a single and then they release a new one and a new one, and they just burn out and they just fizzle out. Music is just about like quick consumption, then move on. But that's just not what I think music is. But everybody has their own thing and their own beliefs, so whatever. But I just feel like she doesn't bring the same heat that she does with her freestyles to her music. And I love women embracing themselves and their body and stuff like that. I'm all for it, and I do it myself. But I feel like more so with Meg, when I'm looking at Meg Thee Stallion performances, what am I looking for? I'm not over here, like, I'm looking to see her twerk. Like, that's the thing. I feel like it's become, her persona has become, like, I get the whole stallion thing in her body, but that's literally what she's become. Like, it's all about her body and her twerking. And I wish that it would, like, she would spend more time focusing on her actual stage presence and actually delivering a show. Like, I know she's not on the main stage yet, so she can't do all these things that other artists can, but I just feel like she doesn't command the stage like other artists do. Like Lizzo, like even when she was just performing on Ellen DeGeneres, like, and that's when I first saw, you know, her perform Juice. She commanded the stage and she had a presence, and I don't feel like Meg Thee Stallion has that yet. And maybe it'll take time, you know, maybe she will get there, and I could be wrong, but she doesn't have that same stage presence. She doesn't own the stage. She doesn't, like, she needs to focus more on, like, you know, the background dancers and things like that. Focus on making a show. Like, I don't know, maybe I went to too many Beyonce concerts and I have high expectations. I know what it's gonna feel. Maybe that's it. I don't know. So anyway, yeah. And then I kind of want to speak on Normani. I think, like, I know she had mic issues, but I think she has it. I do think people should support Waves more. It is a superior track, R&B, good song. It's relatable, like nice singing to it, everything. Motivation's growing on me, but everybody knows it wasn't necessarily my favorite track, but she did good on the show. I think things aren't as smooth as a transition as she would like. And that's just aside from, you know, the mic issues and the clothes not coming off exactly how she wanted. But, like, her dancing, like, she had her solo moment, it was like, okay, you can see, like, step 1. Okay, this is move 2. This is move 3. It wasn't a flowing and transition that out, like, just, it's like she's hitting it and she's articulating it, but it's not flowing. And she needs to work on her flow. But I think, like, you know, she could rise up in the ranks. She just needs a better team behind her and just work on more seamless, you know, performance. But yeah, I see it for her. So anyway, kind of wrapping up, well, not even wrapping up, but kind of talking about two comedians to wrap up, I guess. Yeah. The celeb and entertainment news section. So we're going to talk about Paul Mooney and then Dave Chappelle. So Paul Mooney, I think most people know him. So anyway, he's been in the game for a while as a comedian, and he's kind of like, you know, a little bit on, like, you know, the black issue side in terms of trying to help the people in the movement, from what I gather. But anyway, so I know him on the comedian side because I came to know him from Dave Chappelle, we'll get into later, in the Chappelle show. But so anyways, he used to hang out with Richard Pryor back in the day. And so Richard Pryor, you know, he died back in like early 2000s from MS. But yeah, so his bodyguard recently came out. He's gonna have a tell-all book coming out later. But his bodyguard was like, oh, you know, Paul Mooney molested, you know, Richard Pryor's son, Richard Pryor Jr., and he slept with him. And because of that, Richard Pryor felt betrayed, and he put a bounty out on Paul Mooney's head, and he wanted him dead. And so Paul Mooney, of course, denied all the claims and everything like that. But Richard Pryor's Jr.'s mother and the former wife, I believe, of Richard Pryor Sr. confirmed it in a tweet, basically. And then when TMZ caught Richard Pryor Jr., of course, the son, he didn't name Paul Mooney specifically, but he addressed all the surrounding issues, basically saying, like, yes, I was probably, like, basically it's like saying, yes, he was molested when he was younger, and that, yes, he slept with someone, like, you know, that he shouldn't have, as, you know, like when he was 20. So like, he basically confirmed everything, all the rumors surrounding. He just didn't say Paul's name. Probably because he didn't want to get, like, sued or whatever. But, you know, I'm here to report, you know, on what's going on in the happenings. And especially when it comes to possible molestation and violation of, black men and young black boys, I feel like that's important to acknowledge because it doesn't get the attention that it deserves. So that's just the report on that. So Dave Chappelle released another comedy skit, special, whatever, on Netflix. And it seemed that he tried to be the most offensive as possible. And some people are saying, oh, like, people are like, just look at it superficial. They're not getting what he's really saying underneath all of it. Because, da 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 da. And there's just people who just don't care. And they think, like, oh, yes, like, he's showing that you can say whatever you want. And, F all the people, they're too sensitive and all these different things. And then there's others, you were arguing, like, oh, like, he's very disrespectful, And I'm just going to say, I haven't seen it. I don't plan to see it. Because I don't want to put myself through that, so to speak. And so when people say, if you know how he is, then you shouldn't watch. That part for his capers and his superhero sayings, people who got his back, I agree with. In the sense that, yeah, you know how it's going to be, so why watch it? But at the same time, it's like, why is the ignorance out there? Why put stuff like that out there? And I can't speak in detail because, again, I didn't watch it, so I'm not going to speak too much on it. But I will say that, there's not a thing as people are so talking about people are being too sensitive and they're being so mad and they laugh at the safe space and want people to, honor how they feel and stuff like that. Well, like, and I'm not going to take credit for this thought because I saw it on Twitter and I absolutely agree with it. Like comedians, they still want that same like safe space. They still want that, the same thing that y'all are making fun of. They want the same thing as comedians. They want to be able to say what they want and feel how they feel because they're a comedian. Well, the people who are offended, they, it's the same thing, But my thing is, you don't have, like, I just don't get the ignorance. Why is there a big need for ignorance? And nobody's being sensitive. They're just asking to be respected. That's it. They're asking for, transgender people are asking for respect, to not be mocked for their struggles, and how they feel. And they just ask to be respected, properly gendered, all that stuff. And it's simple. It's not hurting you to do it. So why bother? And homophobia, like all that stuff. It's like, people are not being sensitive. And I hope y'all know that the same spewing that y'all do towards, any members of the LGBTQ community is the same kind of spill and rhetoric that white people use when they target black people or other minorities. Sensitive. Always making things about race. Like, always making things about the LGBT community. You're forcing that on us. You're forcing us to, like, it's just like, it's all the same rhetoric. Like, that's the thing. Like, black people, like, and I'll say a lot of black men, but also black women, like, a lot of people, they, especially if they buy into, like, homophobia and all that kind of stuff, they don't want true revolution. They don't want true freedom. They just want to be on the level of white, cis, heteronormative men. That's what they want, especially black men. And that's it. But yeah, I'm not going to speak too much on it because I can't any further. So I won't. So I'll just kind of switch to another topic. So last week, we kind of talked about, with my guest host, we talked about what's worse than cheating. And again, it was inspired by, Jada Pinkett saying that Will Smith did something worse to her than cheating. And so we kind of dabbled into things. And for me, I feel like I didn't fully encapsulate everything that's worse than cheating. And to me, like, worse than cheating is like betrayal of the soul, betrayal of my mental health, throwing, my mental health in my face, or things that I told you that are really personal, deep, and throwing them in my face. Like, those things are worse. Like, emotional scars in general, like, they just, again, sticks and stones break your bones. That little thing is all wrong. Words do hurt. Words mean things. And so physical wounds may heal, but, like, emotional scars may not ever heal, or if they do, they take forever. So those things are worse than, a significant other, mess with someone else on a sexual level. Just like emotional cheating is worse than physical cheating, because, a lot of people can separate sex from emotions, but when you get emotions and you're starting to love someone else, like, that's just hard. Because that's just, you can't get over love. Like, it that hurts. And so other things I think can be worse than cheating, just violating the spirit and just pushing buttons and triggering things, like just those emotional, like, elements, or just doing things that that will hit the core of who I am as a person. Those things to me, But the last thing I want to talk about before I begin the next section of the show, before we take our break and then come back, is old school parenting versus new school parenting. And I made a whole article about it. I don't know if y'all checked it out or not, but I'm sure if you scroll through my page, you can find the link. But basically, it was saying like the old school isn't better than the new school. I love old school music, but that's about it that they have over the new school. And I'm not saying that any generation is perfect or anybody's better than the other, but I think we've made some real strides in terms of parenting and different things. Like the old school doesn't recognize mental health. They don't recognize depression. They don't recognize, gay rights, and they don't recognize, love is love. They don't recognize, those are types of things that come with it. It comes with just thinking it's okay to get a switch to hit your child. It's okay to, not value your child's thoughts, and that any type of them speaking up or standing up for themselves or saying what they need to say, even if it's in the most respectful manner that's possible, is disrespect. Like those are the harmful things that come from it. And it's like, it's so frustrating to me because a lot of people use how they were raised. It's like, oh, that's how I raised, or if I did that I would have got hit in the mouth. Like, do you think that's okay, boo? Like, do you hear yourself? Or you say like, oh, like if I didn't want to eat at that time, or if I didn't want to eat that, then it's, oh well, I'm SOL. Like, it's just like, so you're telling me, like, just all these different things that they say, so you're telling me that they don't care about your wants, they don't care about your voice, what you have to say, your feelings, your thoughts, your ideas. They don't care, about trying to talk to you first before they hit you. They don't, like, they don't want to take that time, that love, that patience to do that. They don't. I mean, it's just so many different things that you could think of. And I mean, I'll probably address this a little bit more next week when I can flesh out more ideas more. But, it's just, they don't really hear themselves. They don't really think about it. And how does that translate over into your life? When you're taught that, your thoughts, your feelings, and your ideas don't matter, how does that transfer over into what you do and into your future relationships? What is that going to look like in your romantic relationships? You have to think about it, because the childhood is the blueprint. And that follows you for the rest of your life. That's why it's so important to raise people so well. That's why, I start thinking about how I want to be as a parent when I become a parent, and I'm not going to say I'm going to be the best and I'm not going to make any mistakes. I'm just going to do the best I can and just kind of learn and grow from it all, So anyways, we are going to take a quick break. We'll have a little spiel in between here, play some more music, and then get to the next interview.
Pain. Millions. They killed my nigga Beans, it caused me stress. Killed my nigga Brick, it hurt my chest. Zing, had too much heart to wear a vest. I'm on a new beginnings, and my dogs can't see what's next. Mike was low key, he never flexed. K-Rock, he was all about his check. Rami would've been a top prospect. The race to make it out the hood is a scary contest. I represent the Carps, I'm speaking for the block. From where you cop a gat and gotta keep a cop. From where you cop a pack to keep your sneakers hot. I'm coming from the bottom, trying to reach the top. My nigga said, all you gotta speak facts. Every time you spit, make sure it's real rap. Make sure you stay on point and never lack. I said I love you and be safe and watch your back.
Hey, you, you, right there, the one listening. Have you subscribed? Did you tell your friend to subscribe? Did you rate and review the show on iTunes or Spotify? You didn't? Okay, well, here's your reminder in the middle of the show during this break to do so. Hey everyone, we're back. And as promised, I have an up and coming singer ready to share her voice with you live. And so I'm incredibly excited. But first, I would like to give her a chance to introduce herself to you all. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Wright. My Twitter is Jezebel Wrights. My IG is Miss Wright the Writer. I've been singing for a long time, since I was like 8 or 9 years old. My influences, D'Angelo, Beyonce, Lana Havas, Anita Baker. The list it goes on and on.
Mhm. Beyonce is one of my like favorite. I mean, I think everybody knows this, but Beyonce is like one of my favorites, and so she definitely like influences me. And then I can get the Anita Baker too, and even like nobody will ever touch Whitney, but like she like
Oh no, no, no.
she was definitely an influence for me too. So like that's pretty good. So everyone, the moment is coming. So I'm gonna give her a few moments to breathe, but we're gonna start, and she's gonna be singing a Frank Sinatra song for you. All right. So are you ready? Okay, I'm gonna give you a few seconds and go when you're ready.
All right. Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on a Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. That's it.
Thank you, thank you. I really liked it. I could tell like that you practiced, and I like that you had your own little spin to it and everything. I
Thank
like,
you.
yeah, I really liked it. I was listening, I was closing my eyes, and I was just listening to different things. Like I like the vocal runs, I like the mixture, the highs and the lows. Like it was dope. Thank you so much for singing for us.
Thank you.
I really, really enjoyed it. And so, yeah, everybody, we're about to head for break. But before we do, I want to give Jasmine a chance to say anything that she wants to share with y'all before we go to break.
I would just really, really like to thank you for having me on your show, giving me this opportunity. I am greatly appreciative. I was so nervous, but
You did
I
good.
pushed through,
Yes, you
through.
did.
Um, Again, my Twitter is Jezebel Wright, and my Instagram is Miss Wright the Writer. If you would like to follow me, you can. If not, it's okay. I want to thank my mama because I'm here because of her.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And again, I thank you so, so, so much for having me and giving me this opportunity. I cannot thank you enough for this.
You're absolutely welcome. And I want to thank you because you took the time to share yourself from your personality to your voice with us. And it's not an easy thing to do. And we really appreciate it. I know, and I'm speaking on behalf of my audience because I know they appreciate it. And I know this is probably something dope and something special. And again, just thank you. You're the first person I've actually asked to do this, and you're the first. So you're setting the standard. Okay. Like,
yes, okay, standard.
I know, like, you're winning. Okay, so we are going to wrap up and then we will take a break and be right back. All right, so that wraps up today's show. Before you check out on me, I want to thank Jasmine for appearing on the show and for singing for us live. She was so nervous, y'all, but she did a really good job, and I'm so proud of her and I'm so grateful for her appearance on the show. I also want to thank Millions for sharing his music with us in the middle of the show, and you can follow him. Of course, his artist name is Millions, and so you can follow him on Twitter at Millions, and it's Millions with a Z _20C. And then you can find him on IG and at Millions, again with the Z, .20C. So rewind that if you have to so you can catch his Twitter and Instagram. So anyway, thank y'all so much for listening. And as I urge you to do in the middle of the show, please, please, please subscribe. Please retweet this episode when I post it on social media. Send it to your friends in a text. Get them to subscribe. And, again, just rate it, review it on iTunes and Spotify. All these things. It really helps me so, so much. So thank you. And then I'll see you again soon.